Hi. The other day I was working on this journaling page, and as I was working, I realized that I was trying to recreate the kind of stencil look you'd get if you were working on a real mixed media journal page with a stencil and paint or ink. I really love the kind of softness that adds to a page. I love that kind of dimension, and that inspired me to create a new product called Inky Stencils. This one has 10 elements plus a spray brush that you can use to instantly give your pages the look of stencils. But I added the spray brush so that you can take that step, that stenciling look, just a little bit further, and I wanted to show you how you can do that. So if we go to this page that I've already started here, I've got my brushes loaded, and I think we'll try working with this one here, this burst. Remember that when we're using brushes, you always want to work on a new layer, so I'm going to add a new layer here. And it doesn't matter where we stamp here because we're working on a new layer. We can always move that layer later. I'm just going to sort of position it here above her head. Now what we're going to do is create a new blank layer over this burst layer. We're going to Control or Command click on the thumbnail icon for that burst layer so that we get the marching ants. Now we're going to choose a new color. Let's choose this yellowy color and choose our spray brush here. And so that we can see what we're doing, let's hide the visibility, turn off the visibility of the burst layer so that we just see the marching ants. Now this spray brush, when you just look at it this way, looks like sort of a grungy ring, but actually it's quite a fine spray. And I'm going to make it quite a bit smaller here so we can see the effect. And then making sure that I'm on my blank layer here, I'm just going to start brushing onto my page wherever I want. You can change colors, and if you like you can add a new layer. I'm just going to go ahead and do it right on this layer. But you see how fine this is and how light and soft this color is? That's the effect that this spray brush gives you. Now one thing, a tip for you, if the marching ants you feel are sort of distracting from what it is you are trying to do, you can always hide them. Control or Command H hides your marching ants. Now the important thing to remember is this is not like a Control or Command D which dismisses those marching ants. The marching ants are really still there. You just don't see them, and it's just for convenience as you're working. You have to remember to show them again so that you don't forget to dismiss them. Otherwise, if I were just to try to stamp here, I don't see the marching ants. It's really hard for me to tell that they're there. You can't tell that they're there. If I go ahead and stamp over here, you see nothing happens. That's because, of course, my brushwork is constrained to the marching ants, which I'm not seeing at this moment. So when you're happy with what you've got, remember to Control or Command H to turn the marching ants back on, so the visibility, and then go ahead and Control or Command D to dismiss them. So basically those marching ants acted just like a stencil would. When you use a stencil and you lay it down on a piece of paper and put ink or paint on top of it, the ink only goes where the openings are in the stencil, and the marching ants basically perform the same function there. Now down here I did the opposite. I used my letters as a mask for the color that I wanted to put down, and because the mask was hiding the letters themselves, they appear as transparent with the ink around them. Let me show you how to do that. Let's go back up here. Let's hide our burst layer for now. Add a new layer. Let's go ahead and choose one of these alphabets here, and in a dark color let's stamp this down. Let's add a new layer. Control or Command click on the thumbnail icon of the alphabet layer, then making sure you're on that layer, you want to do Select from the menu and choose Inverse. Now let's hide the visibility of those letters. Make sure we're targeted onto our blank layer. Choose a new color with our spray brush. Make that puppy smaller, and then go ahead and stamp wherever you want. Change colors if you want, change the size of the brush, change the opacity of the brush. Control or Command D to deselect, and there you have it. So I've effectively used those marching ants again to create a mask so that the letters were not affected as I was actually stamping down, and that creates this masked effect of these transparent letters. Well, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to add a stenciling look to your digital pages. I hope you'll give my new product, Inky Stencils, a try. You'll find instructions for recreating the steps I've shown you right with the product itself. And my journaling page not only inspired the Inky Stencils product, but it also inspired my new kit called Breathe. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my other digital scrapbooking tutorials.